always bound to happen, particularly as things move forward in the future. It's not easy when you are Harry and Meghan because you've laid down the gauntlet to everybody, basically saying you won't talk to this person, won't do that, you want your own way on every single aspect of your life. As people don't necessarily then follow suit, you have to try new avenues, ones where you contradict yourself. We've seen this time and time again with Harry and Meghan, basically save the planet, but I'll just climb on Elton John's private jet. It's all right because he's planted a few trees. Yeah, right. This is the ridiculousness of it, isn't it? This is the problem. But now the bigger problem is this. You see, Harry's very concerned about his declining image, particularly more so than Meghan. She's roughshod. She doesn't particularly care what people think because clearly I don't think she's got the capacity to actually understand that maybe people don't necessarily like her as such. Harry's a little bit more attuned to this, always been liked, welcomed, loved and applauded. People laughed when he was around. He was the funkle, wasn't he? The person that everybody wanted to meet. Now though, he's at loggerheads with his wife and it's over Archie. Let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for your time in this glorious sunshine today. Hope you're keeping well, whatever you're doing. And, by the way, I'm glad you enjoyed the story about the brilliant 60s icons that are the Searchers. You see, just goes to show, chums, that if you wait long enough, things come around. Don't despair ever. There's always new horizons. That's my motto. People say, oh, Neil, you're eternally cheerful. Nobody's eternally cheerful, but you might as well look on the bright side of life. Because the dark side's bad enough anyway, isn't it? Doesn't matter where you're going, whether you're queuing in the supermarket, waiting for your tablets at the chemists or doctors or whatever. Just think, this will pass. There's always something better around the corner. Stick with me, chums, and I'm right, honestly. Let's get back to your royal story of the day. Now, as we know, Harry's plummeted dramatically since, of course, the sort of inconceivable idea that he's not being truthful about what's on his visa over in the United States of America. This is going to be problematic on a bigger term, let me tell you. The other side of the story is truly this, and I think this is fascinating in itself because, as we know, Harry's coming back once again to fight for PIP security, personal protection security, should I say, and all of that sort of stuff. And when you think about it, it's ludicrous to suggest that this person halfway around the world that really has done a lot of damage to the British monarchy and in fact to Britain itself by basically saying we're at rock bottom, all that sort of stuff. Well, truly now he's decided, he now needs to come back and get the security that we are supposed to pay for as and when he decides to come over. It's been advised by someone close to him that if he came over this particular time with his eldest child, that is Archie, well, that would be the R factor. Now, here's the interesting bit. It's not to say that anybody from the monarchy, this father or anybody else like that, would finally get to meet Archie for a length of time, but it's all about personal sort of, how does it look, that sort of stuff. Trouble is, wifey, Meghan's not having any of it. Apparently, no, she couldn't possibly allow her son to go over there. Way too dangerous, that sort of stuff. Go all the way around to Nigeria and all the way to Jamaica, whatever. But no, Britain's even more terrifyingly dangerous. And this is truly what's happening behind the scenes of the loggerheads, because now you see Harry realises that it's not going to come as easy as he thought with that particular stuff. You're going to have to put a bit of groundwork in, right? You're going to have to maybe persuade people that, yes, I brought my child over, but it's very nerve-wracking, and here we are. And of course it gets good headlines, or so he thinks. Both Harry and Meghan believe that by showing little snippets of their children, we're all going to go, wow, wonderful, marvellous. I believe it was going to take more than that, but the bigger problem for him is whether Meghan will finally relent, let him bring Archie over here as he battles once again for personal protection. But as he's pointed out, it's not just for him, but for her and the entire family. Will that really tip it in his favour? Either way, as ever, it's going to be a developing story. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.